In the previous video, we installed PyQt5 and we created our first GUI wizard. In this video, we will be visually redesigning and creating our PyQt5 GUIs. So we'll first install the PyQt5 tools that include Qt Designer, and here's a website link for it. And we will find the designer.exe in the installation folder. And then we will visually create the GUI from the previous video, but using the designer. So we will be doing it visually. So the command to install is very simple. It's pip install pyqt5-tools. And I typically run it from where I have Python installed because I have different versions of Python. So I run it from Python 3.7. So pip install pyqt5-tools. Press enter. And I have it already installed. Now, interesting thing is, what happened when I first installed it after installing PyQt5 is this. That's a screenshot. I got an error. And what it's saying here, it was trying to uninstall PyQt5 5.12 and it failed because I had my IDE running. So I closed Eclipse and reran it, and then it worked. So it seems the latest version right now of PyQt5 tools is version 5.11, and the latest of PyQt5 is 5.12. So when you install the tools, it will try to match the PyQt5 version. So this might happen to you. So if you see this, don't panic. I did, of course, but in the end, it will work out. Good luck. And the first thing I did is I ran pip list, and that shows the version. So I wasn't sure anymore what I had installed. So here we have PyQt5. My version was 5.11, and PyQt5 tools is also 5.11. So pip list all the packages you have installed in your Python installation. So PyQt5 and the PyQt5 tools get installed into Python lib side packages, as is typical. So this is our PyQt5 folder, and this is the new one, PyQt5 tools. And our Visual Designer tool is in this folder, and we have to find it actually. So we go here, and in PyQt5- in this case underscore tools, it is here. There's a lot of stuff in here, and Designer exe, that's our Qt Visual Designer. So we want to open this guy up, and of course you want to create a shortcut to the Windows desktop. So double clicking it will open up the Qt Designer. And it looks like this. Qt Designer is a fantastic tool. I love it. It's great. It has lots of features and it's fun to use. So let's create a GUI similar to the one we had created by hand, but this time we do it visually. And it's not that complicated. So first, what happens when we first open the designer, we get this pop-up message and it asks us, do we want to create some new form? And by default, it highlights main window. And that's what we want to do. So we can simply click create. And this creates a form, and we can drag controls onto it, we can inspect objects, we can find properties, change them, and we also have a signal and slot editor, but we don't need that right now, so for now we close it to save some real estate here. So what we can do is, this is the main window, you can press Ctrl plus the R key to run it, like this, Ctrl plus R. And this is a preview of what it will look like. Right now, that's just the default form, the main window. But once we put widgets onto it, we can have a preview before we save it, and we can make changes and so on. So Ctrl plus R, or another way is you can click on Form, Preview, which shows the shortcut key is Ctrl plus R. So that is the same thing. So this window is a little bit too big for us. And there are certain tool buttons at the top here. So this one is the adjust size button. So we can click on this button, it'll resize it. Now the interesting thing is on the right hand side under property editor, that's this area here on the right hand side, property editor, there's a geometry property and it shows plus R or another height. And when we move the window, when we resize the window, the value changes. So you can adjust the window, and let's just preview it. So form preview. So now it's smaller. If we save it now, this will be the size of our GUI. So we can adjust it by dragging it around here. Can adjust the size. To have more control, we can also type in here 400 by 300. I think that's what we had before. And now our window is 400 wide and 300 tall. And Ctrl plus R is the preview. So you can see how the size fits how you want it. So the main window comes with a built-in status bar, and we just have to find it. So let's see, what was it here? It's in the property editor, it's called status tip. We can't find it, search for it, so we can status tip. So this guy here, And we can type in a value, say this is the status bar. And now if you hover the mouse over the area of the status bar, you can see the text we just typed in here. So this is status bar, and when we preview the form, it's the same thing. Once we move over the area here, it displays the status bar. So just by finding the property, and you can use the search filter here. So I didn't quite remember where it was, so somewhere down here there's a status bar. Use the filter if you can't find it like me. So in order to create a menu item, it already comes with a menu bar. So we can just type in here. So we called it file, press enter, and then type here again, new, that's our menu item. And if you press Ctrl and R, we run it. And as you can see, our main window has a menu file with a menu item, new. And that's kind of neat. I mean, you just have to type it in. So now we want to do the same thing, that when we hover the mouse over file new, we want to update the status bar. And in order to do that, in the object inspector, we can find our new menu item. And it has a status tip here, the same property as before in the property editor in this area here. So we can say new file, press enter. So when we now preview the form, you can do file new, and you can see that the bottom, the status bar is being updated. Same as what we did manually before in the previous video, but here we're doing it visually, which can be much faster and much more fun. So this is this part. So let's save our design, and I already saved it before, so I do file save as. And you can see the extension of the designer files ends in .ui for GUI, user interface. And let's call this video2 first design. And we'll save it. Now you can see the name of the title up here. In this video, we installed PyQt5's Visual Designer tool. We found the designer.exe in the Python side packs folder. We then used the designer to Visually Designer GUI. And in the next video, we will be converting the designer UI code into Python code, and we will look a little bit deeper at what the UI code looks like.